Council to order, please, and as decorum would dictate, if those who are wearing hats would remove them, and please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If the clerk would call the roll, please.
Justin Shu.
Here.
John Vajedzi.
Here.
Byron Shabazz.
Here.
Dave Dorsett.
Present.
Ashley Katz.
Here.
Don Wynn.
Here.
Jennifer Hemingway. You have 6 present.
We have a quorum, thank you. We have several guests here in attendance tonight, and we're very happy that they are here, and I'd ask Officer Sally Vajedzi from the Macomb Police Department, in charge of social services, being the coordinator in that group. If you could join me at the podium for the issuance of a proclamation. Council, whereas it is the goal of our community to raise awareness and educate the public about homelessness and to encourage support for our local homeless assistance service providers, and whereas homelessness or houselessness is the condition of lacking stable, safe, and functional housing. Homelessness has many causes, such as a lack of affordable housing, poverty, unstable mental health, substance abuse, domestic violence, and discrimination. And whereas with over 700,000 Americans experiencing homelessness, including over 30,000 youth in the United States, we are currently at the highest number of homeless people among industrialized countries. And whereas many communities across the United States face a shortage of shelter and housing resources for individuals experiencing homelessness, leaving many without adequate support. And whereas homelessness touches communities of all sizes in every region, rural homelessness, also known as hidden homelessness, is on the rise in Illinois. On average, 23 people per 10,000 in the general population experience homelessness, a statistic that reflects the situation in the Macomb community as well. And whereas homelessness is a humanitarian crisis that threatens the health, safety, security, and well-being of our community, many organizations in Macomb, including the Samaritan Well, Genesis Garden, the Township Office, the Center for Youth and Family Solutions, and the Macomb Police Department, are committed to providing shelter and supportive services to those in need. And whereas anyone, regardless of background or circumstance, may be at risk of homelessness. Now, therefore, I, Michael J. Inman, Mayor of the City of Macomb, Illinois, do hereby proclaim the month of November as Homelessness Awareness Month. And I encourage all citizens to educate themselves on homelessness as well as support our local homeless assistance service provider. And I'd ask Officer Vajedzi if she'd accept this on behalf of those providers, and then maybe give us an opportunity to learn who all's here with us tonight.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I thank you for listening to this, and I'd like to introduce all of our full house here. We have representatives from the Samaritan Well, from the Center for Youth and Family Solutions. We have the Township Office here, and we also have Genesis Garden here. And all of these people in the audience here are dedicated to helping our homeless community that is here in Macomb. We do have several events coming up. I passed around some flyers earlier. The library will be having a display table with books dedicated about homelessness, so people can look at those throughout the month of November. And then Amber is going to talk about some other events we have coming up. And if anybody else wants to talk about what we do, feel free.
The Samaritan Well staff will be reading to the Macomb School District schools in the week of November 17th through the 20th. So each of the staff members will read to the local schools for several hours. So we're going to try to reach as many students as possible with books that we have selected. We're also going to hold a soup dinner, which will be held in Chandler Park, and that will be from 4 to 6 p.m. on November 18th, and that's open to anyone. So we would love if you guys could join us. We will have display tables and all the staff members from the different agencies that you see here today will be there to talk about their organizations and the services that we offer. And then the Samaritan Well is doing a fundraiser in the month of November as well. And so 17th, 19th, and 20th, if you eat at one of those local restaurants, proceeds of your meal will go to the Samaritan Well so we can continue to offer services in our community.
All right, if you join me in a round of applause for Thank you all for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome. I would like to call a public hearing to consider an ordinance to create a Class D liquor license for 309 Marketplace LLC at 129 North Randolph Street here in Macomb. The petitioner is present, and we'd invite Mr. Seth Minter to come down and give a general overview of the business and what he's hoping to do with his Class D license should it be issued.
Thank you. I have my business partner, or one of the business partners, here with me, and Paul Runzer. The brains of the operation stayed home, and that is our spouses, Jamie and Courtney. They are at home, and then, our manager as well. I would mention her, Katie Conlon. New business in Macomb, in place of the old Nostalgia Building, 129 North Randolph Street, 309 Marketplace. Our goal was to have a space for all of the different vendors and local boutiques in Macomb to showcase their stuff. And so when we bought the building, our goal was to basically make it just that. We opened it up, tried to restore it to its old tile in the building. Luckily, when you have a contractor as a business partner, it makes things a lot easier as far as that goes, because he did some really good work. We're really excited for you all to get in there and see it. Our grand opening is November 8th. We have currently 28 vendors in the marketplace. You can even buy that nice hat on Paul's head when you come in there. For the liquor license, we got this idea, actually it was in Kansas City. There's a place called KC Marketplace. I really enjoy the place. It's on the plaza. I grew up going to the plaza as a kid with my grandparents. It's a place that I still frequent. My wife likes it because she loves to shop. I like it because as she shops, I would go to the back and I would have a drink or two, depending on how long she shopped. I have always thought, how cool would this be in the city of Macomb? This is a place that would work in the city of Macomb. And we have a lot of people that are really excited about it. So far on Saturday for our grand opening, we have over on the event close to 90 that have confirmed, but we have close to 700 that are interested. I hope not all of them show up at the same time on Saturday, because it could be a little chaos. But for the Class D liquor license, our hope is to have different events, and we do have a designated space in there for people to come in and have a drink while shopping. You can sit there and have a drink. It will not be offered all the time. It's going to be for selective things. We do have a hope for a second phase within the building upstairs, but we're not there yet. My contractor's a little tired, so we got to give him a little time to recover before we go to the next phase. So we're really excited. We think this is something that's going to be a lot of fun for Macomb, but it's also a lot of fun for our vendors, because they now have a space where they can offer their products and not just be sold online. You can buy them and go try them on in a physical store.
All right, Mr. Minter, hours of operation?
Great question. Right now, this week on Saturday, we'll be open 11 to 6. We are going to be open Sundays during the holiday season from 12 to 5. Most days it will be 11 to 6. We have not quite figured out if we're going to be closed on Monday and Tuesday or just Monday for right now. Hours will vary based off the season. Holiday season, we will have extended hours. Like Dickens on the Square, for instance, we will be open until 9 o'clock that Friday night. So it will change. We will post that every week, probably via our socials.
Okay, very good. Any questions for Mr. Minter from the council? Alderman Dorsett.
You said you've got a specific area in the building where you'd be serving alcohol. Where is that located in conjunction with the entrances?
So when you walk in, there's actually where, if you remember in Nostalgia, where the cash, where you check out. We actually, and I say we, and by we, I mean Paul, built a bar around the other side. So it's basically like a full wrap. So that space actually can seat up to 10 bar stools there. There is space to where the person that would be serving the drinks is located behind that, and they even have their little station where they could make drinks so needed. So that would be where it would be located.
Any other questions? Anyone wish to speak in further support or opposition to the issuance of the license? I just asked maybe for the record if Ms. Scalf wouldn't mind going over the provisions of the Class D, what it allows, how it functions.
Sure. Class D allows sales between the hours of 11 a.m. and 10:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to midnight on Friday and Saturday. It does offer the optional supplementary Class SS, but that has not been applied for at this time. Typical requirements, Bassett certification for your servers. No one under the age of 18 is supposed to remain in the bar area, but it does not have the 20 to enter requirement.
Very good. Alrighty. Thank you, Mr. Mentor, for being here. Mr. Runzer, do you want to add anything? All right, thank you. If there's no further testimony, we'll close the public hearing. Thank you. Citizens wishing to address the City Council on matters germane to the agenda of the meeting tonight will be limited to 3 minutes and are asked to be brief and concise in making their remarks. Comments that may be submitted by mail or email will not be read aloud, but a copy will be provided to each member of the council and made a part of the minutes of this meeting. Does anyone wish to speak under the public comment section of the agenda this evening? Already hearing none, council before you is a consent agenda. Motion is in order.
Motion to adopt is presented.
Second.
There's been a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented. Any suggestion? Or excuse me, any further discussion, suggestion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shu. Aye. Vajezzi.
Aye.
Shabazz. Aye. Dorset.
Aye.
Katz. Aye. Wynn.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Under unfinished business, item number 1, consideration of an ordinance authorizing the sale of certain personal property that includes equipment and vehicles that are owned by the city of Macomb. This will be second reading.
Thank you. Pursuant to the Illinois Municipal Code, the city is authorized to dispose of personal property that it deems is no longer necessary, useful, or beneficial in one of the 3 ways permitted by the Illinois Municipal Code. Based upon the opinions of City Hall staff and department heads, if adopted, the ordinance provides that council would find that the items listed on the Exhibit A are no longer necessary, useful, or beneficial to retain, and would authorize the mayor or his designee to dispose of those items in all appropriate and available means.
It'll stand as second reading. A motion is in order.
Make a motion authorizing the sale of certain personal property, equipment, and vehicles owned by the city of Macomb.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? There is a list, and Exhibit A is attached in your packet. Several vehicles and some miscellaneous equipment. All right, hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Vajezzi.
Aye.
Shabazz. Aye. Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 2, consideration of an ordinance to authorize the issuance of a special use permit to allow front yard parking in an R2 residential single-family zoning district at 605 Memorial Drive here in the city of Macomb. This will be second reading.
Thank you. Kenneth James Ray, as the applicant, has requested a special use permit authorizing front yard parking at 605 Memorial Drive here in Macomb. The application was referred to the Planning Commission. A public hearing was scheduled for October 15th, 2025. Notice of that public hearing was provided to record owners within 250 feet of the property. A sign was posted on the subject property, and notice of the hearing was published in the community news brief. The Planning Commission did vote at that meeting 10-0 to grant the special use permit and has recommended that council approve the same. If adopted, the ordinance provides that council would desire to concur with that recommendation and authorize the granting of a special use permit for front yard parking at 605 Memorial Drive. And the Office of Community Development would be authorized to update the city's official zoning map accordingly.
Thank you. That'll stand as second reading. Motions in order.
Motion to authorize the issuance of a special use permit for 605 Memorial Drive, Macomb. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? I would note for the record the petitioner was here and present at last week's committee of the whole meeting. Hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
Bajetsy.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 3, consideration of an ordinance to authorize the issuance of a special use permit to allow roof-mounted solar excuse me, in a B2 General Business Zoning District at 1631 East Jackson Street in the city of Macomb. This will be second reading.
Thank you. Midwest Car Washes LLC, as the applicant, has filed a request for a special use permit authorizing roof-mounted solar at 1631 East Jackson Street here in Macomb. The application was referred to the Planning Commission for public hearing. Notice of the hearing was provided to record owners within 250 feet of the property. A sign was posted on the property, and notice of the public hearing was published in the community news brief. The office received no comments in favor of or against the proposed special use permit. The public hearing was commenced on October 1st, 2025, and was tabled and considered again on the meeting on October 15th, 2025. At the October 15th meeting, Planning Commission did vote 10-0 to grant the special use permit and has recommended that council do the same. If adopted, the ordinance does provide that a special use permit would be authorized for roof-mounted solar at 1631 East Jackson Street here in Macomb, in accordance with the site plan approved by the Community Development Director, and the Community Development Office would be authorized to update the city's official zoning map.
Thank you. That'll stand as second reading. Motion is in order.
Motion to authorize the issuance of a special use permit for 1631 East Jackson Street.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to authorize the issuance of the special use permit. Any further discussion? I would note, too, that a representative or agent from the petitioning authority was here last week as well for the committee of the whole. Hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
Bajetsy.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. There is no other unfinished business. Under new business, item number 1, a presentation overview of the final audit for fiscal year ending April 30th, 2025, as presented by Baker Tilly LLP auditing firm. We have Mr. Jason Coyle here from the Baker Tilly firm, and he's prepared to give us an overview of the audit. Mr. Coyle, thank you for being here.
Yeah, good to be with you. So Jason Coyle, I'm a principal with Baker Tilly. Going to go over your financial statements for the year ended 4/30. I just have about a 5-10 minute presentation. Happy to take questions as I go, or wait to the end as you may want to. I'll leave that up to you. So first of all, I want to thank the city staff for all the help getting ready for the audit. It's a big job to do an audit. They have day jobs, and then we come in and ask them to do even more work to get ready for the audit. And so we really appreciate Melissa and her team's help to get through the audit. It made things go really smooth for us. So as I mentioned, this is your 4/30 fiscal year-end audit that we're going to be reviewing now. And just a reminder, you're required to have an audit as required by state law. But it's just a good practice as someone who receives tax funding to have somebody come in, look at the financial information, and put our audited opinion on it. The financial statements that you have before you are presented on what we call GAAP, which is Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. This is a little different than what you see on a monthly basis, which is cash basis. So in this statement, there are accounts payables and accounts receivables, things like that, that you don't typically see on a monthly basis. So the audit was completed several weeks ago and submitted to the comptroller's office, so you're officially up to date with all your required filings for your audit. So you hire us to come in and put the opinion on your financial statements. So you have lengthy financial statements. There's 3 pages in there, which start on Roman numeral 1, which are our audit opinion. And basically what that audit opinion means is that somebody can pick up the financial information and rely on it in all material respects as they evaluate your financial activities and your financial health for the year ended. So the opinion is an unmodified or unqualified opinion, highest level of assurance we can give over your financial information. There are a couple additional disclosures within our opinion, one being that the township, which is incorporated in your financial statements, reports on the cash basis versus the GAAP basis like the rest of the city. You also implemented a couple new accounting pronouncements that impacted your financial presentations. One related to other post-employment benefits, one related to compensated absences. Those both impacted the numbers in your financial statements a little bit. And then one related to just the presentation of the financial statements. One in particular related to a qualification you had in your opinions in the past, which was GASB 75, other post-employment benefits. You hadn't obtained an actuary report that calculated out that liability. So in the past, there was a qualification related to that in your opinion. Happy to say you implemented that appropriately this year. That removes that qualifications that you had within there in the past. You also see in the opinion that there is a comment about some restatements. So we restated some of the beginning fund balances and net positions this year as we did the audit. We identified a few changes that we needed to restate for related to some of the information that was incorporated in the prior year's audit. So sometimes this happens when you bring in a new firm, looking through things in a new light, identified a few things that we needed to correct in the previous years. But still, nonetheless, the opinion is unmodified or unqualified opinion. Right after our opinion, starting on Roman numeral 5, is a section called MD&A, which stands for Management's Discussion and Analysis. And I always recommend to all the governing body members to at least read that. It's about 5 pages long. Does a nice job of summarizing what went on this year compared to what went on last year, because your financial statements are lengthy and you might not want to read through them all, but at least maybe some nighttime reading before you go to bed, read that MD&A one night. Right after the MD&A on page 1 of the financial statements is where we get into the meat of the city's financial statements. And these statements are what we call entity-wide statements. This is where you have all of your funds incorporated here, but then you also have other financial information that you're not used to talking about except for one time a year in the audit. So on there are all your capital assets. So all your buildings, all your roads, all your vehicles, things like that are incorporated as assets on there. And then all your long-term liabilities are also incorporated on there. Any debt that you have outstanding, your net pension liabilities that you owe to your pensions long-term are also incorporated on there. And for the first time, as I mentioned, is another post-employment benefit liability because of that new standard that you implemented this year. And so the one thing I always like to talk about is net pension liabilities, because they can be in the news sometimes here in Illinois, because not all pension funds in Illinois, unfortunately, are funded that well. So you have 3 pension funds that you contribute to, IMRF for your municipal employees, your police, and then your fire pension funds as well. And so when we look at those net pension liabilities, they came to about $20.7 million in the current year, down from 21.3 in the prior year. So, and that's related to investment earnings on those pensions, but also your contributions to those funds on an annual basis. And you are contributing to IMRF and to the police pension fund in line or exceeding your required annual contribution, and you are increasing your contributions to the fire pension fund, although not yet meeting the annual required contribution on that fund. Once you get past the entity-wide statement, starting on pages 8 and 9, excuse me. These are the funds that you typically see on your monthly reports. Your general fund being your primary operating fund. And the one ratio that I always looked at in your general fund is what's the ratio of your annual expenditures to your fund balance. And you are at 67, almost 68%. And there's no right or wrong what that percentage should be. There's differences of opinion. But basically what 67% means is you could go 2/3 of a year without receiving any money in your primary operating fund and still be able to pay all your bills. So from a financial health perspective, that puts you in a comfortable position to have funds to weather any rainy days. But the word of caution is that money could also go quickly if you're not, adhering to your budgets on an annual basis. Overall, your governmental funds increased a little over $500,000 during the year. Flipping another couple pages over to page 10 are your enterprise funds, so your water fund, your sewer fund, your garbage fund. Generally speaking, these funds are different because they're meant to be self-supporting through charges for services. And so you don't typically see property taxes and other grant dollars going in here. So we like to see, are your operating revenues meeting your operating costs? And in all 3 of those, you had operating income, which meant, at least in the current day, your charges for services are meeting your operating costs. You also see you had some capital grants that went in there as revenue to help support some improvements in infrastructure into those funds. And then on page 14, you have your police and fire pension funds. You hold those as a fiduciary. and you'll see you're making contributions into those funds, and then you've also had some healthy investment earnings the last couple of years into those funds as well. And then in the back of your statements, and I won't go into these, there's a lot of detail. You have notes to your financial statements which hold a lot of information on your long-term debt, your capital assets, your pension liabilities, and after that is a lot of budget to actual information. So there's a wealth of information within your financial statements if you wanted to take the time to look through it and get to know it a little bit more. We also do an audit over your federal funding because you expend more than $750,000 in federal funds. We're required to do a more in-depth audit over certain federal programs that you have. This year, we audited CDBG, and we're required to audit that, making sure that you spent the money in line with the grant, but also that you adhered to all the other compliance requirements. And happy to say we didn't have any findings. So that's quite an accomplishment to make sure that you're adhering to all those federal rules. Also, when we come in to do the audit, we take a look at your internal controls or your checks and balances. We don't provide an opinion on your internal control structure, but we do it to allow us to identify what risks might be in your control structure so we can identify audit procedures that might need to be supplemented to identify any risks. And the requirements right now are that we are required to communicate anything that might need to be improved in your internal controls. So some recommendations. Unfortunately, the standards don't really have a great mechanism to for us to tell you how great you're doing at all of your internal controls on most things on a day-to-day basis. We only tend to highlight the things that need some improvement. So you do have a lot of great controls that are going on a day in and day out basis. That said, as the new auditor, we look at things in a new light, and it's not uncommon for us to have a few recommendations on your internal controls, and we did. And so within the communication document, which is a separate document from the financial statements, we have some recommendations for improvements in your internal controls within there. Management did also incorporate their response to each one of our recommendations to give you and anybody else who picks up the document an idea of how management tends to mitigate those moving forward. A couple of them related to payroll and accounts payable were already, management's already implemented some changes to those, so we expect to see those fall off in future years as we come back to look at those controls anew next year. And some of the other ones management will continue to work on as appropriate. And these recommendations are always a cost-benefit analysis, obviously. It costs money to make any significant changes, and so you have to weigh the cost and the benefit of making any changes there. And I think that is generally the conclusion of my prepared remarks, but I'm happy to go in depth further on anything that you might have questions on, or just answer any questions you have in general.
Any questions for Mr. Coyle? Any observations, comments?
Just did an excellent job. You know, for somebody like me, you made the language very clear, very understandable.
Great,
So
thank you.
Alderman Vajezi.
I would like to double down on what you mentioned about the staff. The business office has done an outstanding job. We're very fortunate to have a wonderful director and the staff that works with her, but also the staff that works with the rest of the city. Our department heads and everybody that does this day in and day out make it much easier for you to come to a city that's doing well. And if you can tell by these reports, we are doing well. We're very good about making sure we take care of our taxpayers' money. We're very frugal in some of the areas in which we spend. So I appreciate the fact that everybody here is cognizant of making sure that the money that comes into us from the citizens of Macomb is taken care of very well.
Yes, yeah. And I would add to that the comments that I've gotten from city staff is tell us how we can improve, right? And we love that attitude. We love, as the auditors, that attitude of, hey, we're looking at you to provide us some recommendations so we can make ourselves better as a city versus being any kind of adversarial, if you will. And so we like that open attitude of accepting some recommendations for improvement, and we really appreciate that.
Anyone else? I would just note a couple of highlights for, so an unqualified highest level of review, and there are no findings, and I think I heard we have 67% of our annual funds in reserve, so we could go roughly 2/3 of a year without income. Not that we'd want to do that, but that's a harbinger of, again, bottom line, good management of the taxpayers' dollars, so we appreciate that. Any other questions for Mr. Coyle? Alrighty, sir, thank you. Item number 2 is consideration to accept the final audit report for fiscal year ending April 30th, 2025. You've been provided with copies of not only the financial statement, supplementary information, but reports and insights from the 2025 audit and the report on federal awards. We'd entertain a motion to accept and file the report.
Motion to accept the final audit report for fiscal year ending April 30th, 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Bejetsi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And we thank you both for being here with us tonight. Item number 3, consideration to award a bid for the Macomb Police Department window replacement project to Lavender Construction Incorporated for bid version number 1 in the amount of $51,137. There's a memorandum in your packet from the chief, along with some bid tabs, bid form, and a certification. Chief, you want to go over all that for us, please?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Council. I'm happy to report the exterior window project of the Macomb Police Department is moving along. And I'll echo the good stewardship of the money. We sought a grant first through Jessica Bidenstadt's office, through Pella, our cooperation with them, and we were able to secure $15,000 towards the window project, of course, with the purchase of quality Pella windows. The bid process was completed. Lavadier Construction was selected for bid version 1. We bid this like 5 different ways with combination of vinyl material versus fiberglass material, with a combination of non-opening windows and some of the windows that open. And what we did was selected bid version 1, which was vinyl windows with 20 non-opening windows for essentially security precautions, because it's a police department. We don't want to accidentally leave a window open. But with 3 vinyl opener windows on the north side, which face the sheriff's department. Occasionally, we open those to speak to the fire paramedics, sheriff's department, and it's also the 3 most used rooms by patrol. So sometimes they pop the vest off and need to cool off a little quicker than our HVAC can keep up with. So what I think is important to note is bringing 2 local businesses together, Lavadiers and Pella, to create this project and get high efficiency windows put into the police department. Coupled with our HVAC system last year, we hope to realize some savings on utility bills as well. But with your authorization, the windows will be ordered. I believe there's an 8-week lead time, and then we'll begin installation as soon as practical.
Any questions for the chief? Excuse me, then I'd entertain a motion to award the bid to Lavadier Construction in the amount of $51,137.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion at all? Appreciate your review, chief. Thank you. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Bejetsi,
Recuse?
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 4, consideration to authorize proposed statement of work for the city of Macomb developed by Leap Group Matter. This had discussion at the committee of the whole last week. A recommendation from the General Government Committee, the city has budgeted $25,000, and in an intergovernmental agreement with the Macomb Park District contributing $20,000 of that. Mr. Coker, could you go over what we're planning to do here, please?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. As we discussed last week, this is a marketing proposal. So this is the statement of work. Just late Friday afternoon, we received the draft contract. So what I'd like to ask is for approval to do the statement of work, and then in 2 weeks, we'll bring the contract back after we've had a chance to review it for final approval by council. But what we're doing is a marketing plan for the city with money with our partners, both the Quality of Life Committee and then our other partners that we discussed last week. So,
Any questions for Mr. Coker? Alderman Vajezzi.
I mentioned this last time when we went over this, but I'm appreciative with our partners in the community that we're trying to promote Macomb, whether it be restaurants, shopping, housing, industry, whatever it happens to be. But we're looking outside of just marketing to within our town and trying to go outside, whether it be 250 miles or out, looking at different areas to try to bring people into Macomb as a destination. I remember a couple years ago driving west in town and seeing a billboard for Quincy. And just thinking, wow, that's pretty good about them trying to advertise here. But now I understand why they did that, trying to get people to come down to there. So I completely understand why we're doing this, and I applaud that we're doing this, especially as we look forward to trying to get people to come into Macomb.
Any other, Alderman Dorset, I'm sorry.
So it's your intent to bring the contract back here before we, okay.
Yeah, I would like to ask for approval tonight on the statement of work, just so that you agree we're heading in the right direction, but I will bring the contract back at our next council meeting on the 17th for final approval.
And we may understand why they did it, doesn't mean we appreciated why they did it. Any other discussion? We'd entertain a motion to authorize the proposed statement of work developed by Leap Group Matter.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Wynn,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajetsky.
Aye.
Shabazz. Dorset.
Aye.
Katz. All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 5, consideration to authorize a contract to Fluid Control Products for repair and/or replacement of various components of a sludge thickening gearbox assembly in the amount of $31,772.62. There's a memorandum in your packet along with a quote. Ms. Ortman from the Public Works Office, if you could go over what would like to do here, please.
We want to talk sewage tonight? The sludge thickener is the part where everything gets concentrated, so we're not treating as much water when we're disposing of our solids. So the planetary gear is at the bottom of the thickener, and if it gets clogged or jammed or whatever, we can't take the solids out of the system. So Josh got a quote to repair or replace several parts of the thickener. It's done by the company that manufactured it originally, which is why there's only one quote, because they're the ones that do it, kind of like our diamond filters. So.
Any questions for Alice? Okay. We'd entertain a motion to authorize a contract with Fluid Control Products for that repair replacement in the amount of $31,772.62.
Motion to approve.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any further discussion? What's the lead time on a repair?
37 to 38 weeks. So we actually won't be paying for it most likely out of this year's budget. It'll be next year's budget.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajetsky.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz. Wynn.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. Item number 6, consideration of an ordinance to authorize the creation of Class D liquor license for 309 Marketplace LLC at 129 North Randolph Street in the city of Macomb. A copy of the ordinance is in your packet. I'd ask the city attorney to have first reading, please.
Thank you. 309 Marketplace LLC is located at 129 North Randolph Street here in Macomb. They have filed a request for approval of the site for the sale of alcoholic beverages and the creation of a Class D liquor license. Upon receipt of the application, we notified record owners within 250 feet of the property, posted signs on the property, scheduled a public hearing for November 3rd, 2025, and published notice of that public hearing in the community news brief. Background investigation of the principals and resident manager have been conducted, and there are no issues from a law enforcement perspective that would prevent the creation of the license. We have not received any written protests from any of the record owners. We did have the public hearing tonight, November 3rd, 2025. If adopted, council would indicate its desire to approve the site for the sale of alcoholic liquor and the creation of a Class D license for 309 Marketplace LLC and would authorize the mayor to issue that license.
Thank you. That'll stand as first reading. We'll have that on for a possible further discussion at next week's Committee of the Whole. Item number 7, consideration to authorize the execution of a purchase agreement for real estate located at 5 East Side Square. We have a proposed agreement, and I'd ask Ms. Scalf to go over the details, the terms on that, if she would, please.
Sure, this is a proposed purchase agreement for 5 East Side Square, includes 2 PIN numbers, the building as well as a parking area behind the building on the east side of the structure. The purchase price would be $65,000. The city would pay all closing costs associated with that sale, including recording the deed into our name. We would also pay for any title search and survey that we might deem appropriate. The property would be purchased as is, in the current condition. Seller would not be obligated to make any repairs, replacements, or improvements. We do have the right to conduct a full inspection of the property within 30 days, but that would just be for our information only and not for any modification of the purchase price.
Thank you. We'd entertain a motion to execute that agreement.
Motion to execute a purchase agreement for real estate located at 5 East Side Square.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Alderman Shu.
I still struggle with this because I'm not convinced that we should be interested in a venture like this, but really struggle that there's not more time for people to know about this project and the focus and get feedback on it. So I'm still not in support of this.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All righty, hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Shu,
No.
5-2.
Motion carried. Thank you. There is no other new business this evening. Are there any committee reports? Hearing none, aldermanic reports. Alderman Nguyen.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Alderman Katz.
Yes, I just want to call attention to this upcoming Saturday. Very busy day in Macomb. We have multiple things going on. Altruista Bazaar going on all day. 309 Marketplace grand opening, as well as a big football game at Macomb High School. They're hosting the second round of playoffs at 1. Also a football game across town at WIU as well. So I know there's going to be some announcements put out for parking specifically around the high school area. So make sure people have their eyes out for that because it will be hopefully busy. Hopefully very busy.
All the potential, anyway.
Yes,
Very
very
good. Thank you. Alderman Dorset.
Just a reminder to everyone that we are still in the middle of the no sticker yard waste pickup, which will be going until November 28th. Please do not place leaves into the streets, and unless you can somehow magically keep your smoke in the confines of your backyard, please do not burn leaves, not permitted under ordinance. And the yard waste site will close at the end of Sunday, November 30th.
Very good. Thank you. Alderman Shabazz.
On the report.
Thank you. Alderman Vajezzi.
Just a quick call out to a couple individuals. The first two are Alex Simmons and Ella McKee, state bound for cross country from Macomb High School. So both did exceptionally well at sectionals and qualified for state. And then also, as Alderman Katz had mentioned, Macomb High School had a wonderful win over Hillcrest 21-6 and are moving on to the second round of the playoffs.
Okay, very good. Alderman Shu.
No report.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, anything?
Nothing to add, Your Honor.
Thank you. Attorney Scalf.
Nothing.
Thank you. Mr. Coker. No report. All righty. I would like to call an executive session to consider information relative to the purchase or lease of real property for the use of public body pursuant to Section 2C5 of the Open Meetings Act.
Motion to go to executive section.
It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. For anyone still in the audience, there'll be nothing coming out of the executive session this evening.
They fled.
Yes.